Hey all, and welcome to Shadow of Space, and we're commenting on another BCB video. This one is called Democrats Melt Down After Woke Senator Finds Out After Protesting Against ICE with Radical Lunatics. This is uploaded May 26th. Hold on, let me check that. Yeah. This is uploaded May 26th. This is being recorded May 27th, and link is in the description.
This is the deal. ICE says they're going to do everything they can to keep this facility open, and we're going to keep a close eye on exactly what happens with that. And so the other situation is there's people like this. You are a protester who's been out here and you have a dirty mouth, but okay, so that's just what we deal with. So just for people that want to know what it's like to cover these protests, it's constant with this. This is what these people do. They want people who are in this country illegally to be released out onto the streets. DHS says that's what they're gonna not be doing. So we'll see.
Nazi bitch, that's what you are.
That is an eloquent argument made against the presence of Alexis McAdams, reporting on what's happening there outside of Newark. Stay safe, Alexis.
I mean, I'm not any better.
So we got to talk about a classic case of F around and find out, featuring Democrat Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey. He decided to show up to Newark to protest with a bunch of radical lunatics against ICE, right? He showed up to an ICE facility and he ended up finding out, right? He got pepper sprayed as he was protesting with radical lunatics. It got out of control. I believe he got in between the radical lunatics and ICE, and then
What is the phrase that I believe people on the left like to say is that if you lay with dogs, you're going to get fleas?
he ended up getting sprayed, right? And now they're boohoo, wide, and crying foul, of course.
Well, when you play around with skunks, you're going to get sprayed.
A senator showed up to a protest and found out.
Clashes between protesters and ICE agents outside an immigrant detention facility in Newark, New Jersey. As we told you before, those protests continue today.
Yeah, yesterday the agents pepper sprayed some of the people in the crowd.
I don't think they've stopped, have they? ICE hasn't stopped. I wouldn't expect the anti-ICE protests to stop if ICE hasn't stopped.
Senator Andy Kim was there, got caught in a cloud of that spray, requiring first aid. He and New Jersey's governor now demanding that facility be shut down over complaints about inhumane conditions.
Action News race and culture reporter Taronda Thomas joins us live in the Satellite Center. Taronda,
So I mentioned this about Spencer Pratt and his plan to open up that facility for these homeless people. Is that the only real problem that they would have with it, that people on the left would have with it, is if the conditions were inhumane?
talked to the senator a short time ago.
I did, and he detailed what he saw inside that detention facility and the moment outside where he found himself in the path of pepper spray.
My eyes were hurting, my throat was burning.
New Jersey U.S. Senator Andy Kim reliving a moment that's being played over and over on television and social media. The moment ICE agents used pepper spray as Kim and a group of demonstrators protested outside a detention facility. The senator seen getting his eyes washed out. It all unfolded Monday at Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey. Homeland Security officials say demonstrators blocked the exit and refused commands to clear the area.
I asked them to give me some time to see if we can find some type of arrangement that would allow for this to happen peacefully.
Protesters say immigrants being held at the detention facilities receive subpar treatment. It's a concern echoed by New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill, who also joined demonstrators outside the facility. She said in a statement, quote, "The people inside Delaney Hall are fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, and members of our community. In New Jersey, we believe in the rule of law and that everyone deserves to be treated with basic dignity." But the Department of Homeland Security defends its treatment of immigrants at detention centers. A DHS spokesperson sent a statement to Action News that reads in part, quote, "The facts are all detainees are provided with 3 meals a day, clean water, clothing, bedding, showers, soap, and toiletries." Governor Sherrill was denied access to the facility yesterday, and initially Kim was too. Once Kim did get in, he says he was disheartened by what he saw.
Yeah. So you seen that, you heard that. Same old song and dance. Democrats show
Yeah,
up
it
to...
probably looks like a prison. It probably looks like a holding facility. It probably doesn't look like the Ritz. It probably doesn't look like a 5-star hotel. It's not supposed to.
Detention center, unannounced, right, with, again, these radical far-left protesters. and then they're shocked, Pikachu face, right? That they're not being let in just because they're a rep, they're the governor, they're a senator, right? They are shocked that they're not being given what they wanted, okay, despite showing up unannounced, because this is all a political stunt. It's the same political stunt that they pulled over and over and over again, and the same thing is happening, okay? These Democrats are getting hurt, right? They're getting pepper sprayed. They're getting caught up in some of the clashes because they're participating in these violent protests.
One sec. Okay, we're back.
With these radical extremists. So, of course, they're now crime foul, okay? And I want to react to it. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
When you pepper spray a United States senator, you are not working to keep people safe. That's exactly.
Well, I mean, that's his job, right? He needs to stay out of the
protest. Yes, you are. Whatever happened to no one is above the law? If a senator is going around shooting people with a gun, you shoot him, right? Doesn't matter?
Stay out of the...
No. You have to try to detain him calmly. You have to try to de-escalate the situation because he is objectively more important than everyone else, being a government official.
Dangerous zones, right? It's his fault, right? Had he not showed up and not did what he did, then he would not have been pepper sprayed, okay? But, you know,
again,
Democrats...
The police should just leave these states. I don't know why you stay. I'm going to be honest.
It's never their fault. It's never the fault of the far-left protesters. What happens to them, right, when they win Darn Awards, is never their fault. It's everybody else's fault except theirs.
What we're doing in New Jersey, and we can both keep people safe here and make sure they can express their thoughts and values. That, you know, if that's beyond the capabilities of the federal government, that's just another reason that Delaney Hall needs to close.
That's New Jersey Democratic Governor Mikey Sherrill referring to yesterday's clashes between protesters and federal immigration agents happening outside an ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey. The lawmaker she referred to as Democratic Senator Andy Kim.
And yet no one died. Amazing.
Of New Jersey. Here he is having water poured on his face after he was exposed to pepper spray. The Department of Homeland Security says, quote, no individuals were directly struck by pepper ball projectiles, which is a pretty specific denial. Lawyers for the detainees inside say that hundreds started a hunger and labor strike on Friday, protesting spoiled food, overcrowded rooms.
Yeah, do you think that that's because that's the weaponry that they had?
Medical care and other issues. Homeland Security says tensions escalated over the weekend as protesters tried to stop the transfer of a detainee to another facility. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Andy Kim of the great state of New Jersey. Senator, were you directly pepper sprayed? Were you directly hit by any pepper spray projectiles? What exactly happened?
Yeah, so I tried my best to get between the ICE agents and the crowd as the ICE convoy decided to just...
What a fool.
...go ahead and plow through the crowd, which was just absolutely so
yeah,
dangerous.
Well, that's what they have to do. That's what they've learned to do, because these people were continuously in the way.
Really? Really? So it's dangerous for ICE to do their jobs, right? But it's not dangerous? You have nothing to say about the protesters who were...
Then have fun when more protesters get shot, because the ICE officers have had enough, and they've reached their limit, and you continue to antagonize them.
Obstructing, and you...
It'll be your fault. It won't be their fault. It'll be your fault. You could tell the protesters to go away. You could tell them to let ICE do what they're supposed to do, but you don't. You tell these people to put themselves in harm's way, to put themselves in the jaws of the lion, because they personally don't agree with it.
As a senator, decided it'd
like,
be a good idea.
When are you going to get balls and tell these people to actually get guns and start shooting at these ICE officers? When are you going to actually man up and realize that you're in a war, idiot?
Try to get in the way, right? These people are so dumb. They're so dumb.
Like, what do you think is going to happen? You're lucky that these people don't just run you over. Like,
you elect these dummies to Congress, seriously. But I mean, let's be honest. This is what they want, right? They want stuff like this to happen to them so that they can go on national television, so they can go on CNN and boo-hoo, whine, and cry victim. But again, this dummy got in between ICE and the protesters, aka he was somewhere he was not supposed to be.
No, he did what the two people he did exactly what the one guy who got killed by ICE did, was getting in the middle of ICE trying to detain someone. You should be dead right now, idiot. You shouldn't even be alive.
As the protesters were trying to obstruct ICE, okay? And ICE said, we don't care. We're going to do our jobs. If you don't move out the way, then you're going to get plowed, right? And that's exactly what should happen. I mean, let's be real. If you're obstructing, if you're in the road and you're saying, hey, you're not going to move, then ultimately today, that's on you. You made your...
They're federal officials. Suddenly, it's completely appropriate to stop federal agents from performing an official federal function. I thought that was
choice about
I thought you weren't supposed to do that.
You want to stay safe, whether or not you want to be able to protest without having to, get run over, right? You made that choice, and he made a choice, this senator, to get in the middle of this, and he found out.
Action that they were doing. So I remember, the pepper ball starting to get shot towards my feet and past me. I did not get hit directly by a pepper ball, but certainly between the pepper balls and then the pepper spray that was happening, I certainly had, irritation and burning sensation.
Oh, poor
you
baby.
weren't targeted directly, right? So they weren't just targeting you because you're a Democrat senator. They targeted you because you were somewhere you were not supposed to be, right? And you got caught up because you were at a place you were not supposed to be. Amazing.
Eyes in my throat. But more broadly, this was something that was avoidable. We were trying to find a way.
Yes, avoidable for you, right? Avoidable for you had you not been in a place you were not supposed to be.
Why not contact the local police and have them arrest these people, or get them back, or close the protest or something? No.
Supposed to be, right? Again, as a senator, is probably a good idea to go through the proper protocols and procedures to be able to tour the facility. But again, that's not exciting enough, right? That doesn't get the lunatics radicalized enough. Right?
Well, no, they're just cowards. They're weak, pathetic cowards who can't actually do anything.
Want to show up unannounced and then participate in these violent protests, and then they want to cry victim.
No,
when they
aren't even violent. If they were truly violent, then they would actually be able to stop these ICE officers. They don't know how to be violent because they're too weak and pathetic.
To be able to move forward that wasn't going to escalate in this way, but ICE decided that they just had enough and they were going to just move ahead, and I just thought that was an incredibly dangerous action for them to do, and that continued problems, that continued threat of violence and escalation continues today, tomorrow. I mean, we're seeing just a heightened level of danger right now in New Jersey.
Pussy.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. The gaslighting never stops. It never stops, man. Is always somebody else's fault. It's never the fault of the individuals, the protesters, the rioters, the extremists who are putting themselves at risk with their reckless and dangerous actions. It's never their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. And, this is the MO of the Democrat Party, right? This is how they operate. It's all about playing victimhood. A lot of this stuff is staged, is fake, right? In the sense that, again, they knowingly put themselves in a position to be hurt, and then they want to cry about it. But, hey, this is what you do when you're desperate, right? They're trying anything that they can to continue to have these radicalized lunatics mobilized because ultimately they need the votes, right? And it is a shame that Democrats are participating in these violent protests for votes because that's what it's about. It's about power. If these people were responsible, they say, look, the way that you handle this is through voting, right? If you don't like it, then you vote, right? But what you don't do is that you don't show up to the facility and try to invade the facility and think that there are not going to be any consequences. Of course there are going to be consequences, and this senator found out. So I don't really want to see the tears. I don't want to hear the crying. It is what it is. You knew what you were doing, and, it's the consequence of what you're doing. So next time, go through proper protocol, go through the proper procedures, and you ain't got to worry about it. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
What did Hakeem Jeffries say? He said, fuck around and find out? Maybe if you actually did something, instead of doing nothing, you would actually solve your problems. I'm sorry. Today was not a good day. So, I guess the only thing that I can say is hopefully I'll be a little more calm tomorrow. I guess I also want to apologize. I know the last video didn't have a lot of commentary. It does upset me when I get this upset. I don't really know what to say.